So I am going to put on my face makeup. That is why my face is naked. I'm going to be using makeup from like my everyday on my desk makeup bin. It is here. If you want to watch me go through this, I have a video on that where I'm kind of like going through it. But this is like the tutorial from it. So this is makeup that I have out to use like on the regular. It's certainly not everything that I use, but I like to have it there, especially if I just need like a basic fast look. Like the everyday, I gotta go look. Everything I need is here. I'm not gonna go digging for it, and I'm not gonna be having to like, shoot, what bronzer works right now and what doesn't. Instead, it's like I keep it there. It's kept here. That's what we're going to use. I have already done my eye makeup because I didn't want this video to be a million years long. So that's in a separate video, which you can and should also check out. I use Bare Minerals makeup. And if you've ever been curious or a little bit scared, you should check out that video so that you're not curious and that you're not scared, that you're not missing out, because it's great. And let's go. First things first, we got to go to primers. What do we want to use? I've already done a video on this, the e.l.f. Beauty Shield Primer. So there you go. So many videos for me to tell you to go watch. If you want to hear more about that and watch me put that on, check out that video. But I'm not going to use it right now for that reason. Maybe I'll save this primer, the BECCA Backlight Primer, and mix it with my foundation. And instead, let's prime with my e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. I can't get over how much I love this soft green packaging. I love it so much. Lots of people have talked about this and were like, I love it. And that's what made me get it. And I was like, I've already had like balms and stuff before. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. And I started using it and I'm really into it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's really nice. It literally does feel cooling. Okay, let's put my hair back in kitty cat flower ears. Yeah, it does actually feel cooling, which is so weird and cool because it's cooling. So I say just put some on directly on your skin if you're cool with that. My earring just fell. And then pat it in and then fix your earring. I do feel like it leaves your skin in a nice place for makeup. A little bit tacky, but quite smooth and soft and hydrated and lovely. I just press it with my fingers. I'm sure you could do something else if you don't like that. If you don't want to put it directly on your skin because you have acne issues you don't want to spread, you could probably use a beauty blender, put it on your fingers, come up with something else. I have this like funny rash on my forehead right now. It's just there. I actually was supposed to film like days ago, but when I woke up, I had a horrible allergic reaction and rash. Like my under eye area was like so red and puffy, and I get this rash through here. So you can kind of see like what's left of it, but like this is nothing compared to what it was like. And so I was like, well, I can't film. Not just because I'm vain and don't want to look all weird and rashy in a video and make people look at my weird rashy face, but like the idea of putting makeup on top of it was like, well, that's just going to make it worse. So instead, I took a Benadryl and a nap. Okie. Since we're using sticks, let's use the eye stick too. This is the PUR HydraGel Lift. I was using this and then I found something that I thought would kind of dupe it at CVS by the Saem. It's a Korean brand. It's also like a hydrating under eye stick, but I don't really like it, to be honest. It's super cute and all. See, it's adorable, but it's not really good. They have other things that I like, so I don't want it to sound like I'm super negative on them. Like, I wouldn't just count the brand out. There's things that I super duper like. That's just not one of them. I have the eye product of theirs that I like. It's also in a video. And then their other product I've been really liking is this. It's a glacial water. It's Iceland Hydrating Soothing Gel. I don't know why I called it a glacial water. I don't think it's really that, but that's the feeling they're giving it. You know, it's like a watery glacier bottle. It's nice. It's also cooling. So if you're looking for more cooling things, try it. This is a bit expensive. I tried it because some people really swear by it. I think with the under eyes, it's like you got to figure out what your issues are. For me, I do like it quite a bit, but whether I would get it again would depend on like what kind of price I could find, because I don't think it's super worth it. On top of that, let's add the e.l.f. Hydrating Under Eye Primer. I mean, like going from one extreme to the other. This is super inexpensive, so it makes some of the other stuff harder to justify. It's a pinky cream. This is not the first one of these I've had. I'd repurchase it because why the heck not? Why the heck not? I pulled out this No Poreblem Primer by Touch in Soul. I pulled it back out because Kathleen Lights super liked it. And I super like her, and I like a lot of her product recommendations. So I had kind of like put it away like, wah. And then I was like, well, I should give it another try. And I don't really notice anything special about it, but I don't really have significant pore issues that I'm dealing with. But I do like it. I don't dislike it, but it doesn't stand out as being very special to me. But I'll keep trying it. Maybe I'll realize it's super special. All right. We should do some color correcting for all of my redness. Let's use my favorite little color correcting green crayon by Essence. I did just go get a fake tan because I'm going to go on a little trip. And it hasn't been summery for me here, and it's summery there, and so I'm going to be wearing like shorts and stuff, and I wanted a little help wearing shorts. So if you think I look dumb, you're allowed to think it. I mean, I don't look dumb right now, right? Oi! Okay. I like to blend that in with the Wet n Wild Green Corrector Cushion. High maintenance, but these are both very inexpensive products. Essence put out their own. They even like marketed them as color correcting like blender sponges. It was like little sponges, and I think the idea would be that you'd like use the green sponge with like your green color corrector and all that kind of jazz. Well, I got those, not because I really thought that the color correcting aspect was necessary, but I do like little blending sponges, and they're bad. They're bad. They immediately went to my nail polish doings instead of my makeup doings because they were hard and no good. So maybe Essence will put out better sponges someday, but those were no good. But this I quite like. I'm going to add a little of my darker green color corrector. And speaking of pimping my videos, I do also have a video just on this green color correcting. So if you want to hear more about that, you should check out that video. Okie dokie. Now I'm a little green. Exactly what I was going for. So one of the changing of the guards reasons for me to give this attention was it being summer, being tanner than the makeups I had out. So I'm going to use this tan full coverage foundation that I have. It is L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte in the shade Golden Beige, which I normally am not a golden beige. So I haven't used this recently because of that. So let's give it a go and cross our fingers and hope for the best. I am going to mix it up a little. I'm going to take some of this foundation. Bloop. Let's mix in a smidge of that primer I said I would use. The BECCA. Make it a little less matte for me, a little more illuminating. And then I'm also going to put on a smidge of oil. Here's this primer oil. This is a L'Oreal. It's the Age Perfect Hydra-Nutrition Facial Oil. I like it for right now because it has an SPF of 30, so that's good. The other oil I'll use is more of a vitamin C kind of thing, which is the opposite of an SPF. So I'm going to put away for a while. And then we're just going to mix it up. They're all mixed up. That's right there. And I'm going to apply it with a Beauty Blender. Beauty Blender is a less full coverage application choice, but it just really suits my skin a lot better. I wish I could, I don't feel like I can get away often with like a brush application method. If you like that, and if you can, and if you want more full coverage, you should do that instead. Full coverage is not my day-to-day kind of look, but it's what I'll do for videos usually. And this is a video And we're here making a video together. You and me, we're here. You're here too, I'm sure of it. You're helping. You tell me, don't do that. That looks stupid. And I say, okay. I got nice new sponges. Yay, nice new sponges. These are the Real Technique ones. Beauty blender dupes. And they're good. And I got them for a very good price. My blended foundation cocktail has a very interesting smell. I think mostly from the oil. The oil also does make something a little less full coverage. If you want full coverage and you don't need the oil because you're not dry skinned, you should not do that. I haven't tried the Pro Glow version of this foundation yet, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I really want to try it. It does have somewhat mixed reviews by people, which is interesting. You know, blend down that neck. I think that ended up working really nicely. I am pleased. Are you pleased? Let's add a little concealer where I need it. This Physicians Formula Insta Ready Full Coverage Concealer is very full coverage. It is usually too dark for me, and this is the shade Light, and this is a very tan shade for me. So I'm going to use that now. Mine was kind of brokety too. Like the pump I had to really like mess around with, but I think it's working now. It did come with a little sponge, which was not unusable. Like I said, those Essence ones were, but is not like the best sponge either. It's lighter than I thought it would be, for this foundation is darker. Usually this is dark for me. Look how full coverage that is. It's very full coverage. A little goes a long way. I think the other day I was doing like a really no makeup look. I wasn't doing anything. I had just thrown on like a very smidgy amount of some tinted moisturizer. And I was just going to throw on a little bit of concealer, and I used this one. And I didn't realize just how far it would go. And suddenly it was like I was using this concealer as a foundation. And all I had meant to do was wear like a tinted moisturizer. So that was interesting. I think that's nice. I'm happy with it. It's not what I'm going to use under my eyes. Let's see. What do I want to use? I want to do any other creams before I move on to my under eyes. I know I had this fun boy. This is the Super BB hashtag Insta Ready Physicians Formula. It's like a contour stick. Feels like a tiny little deodorant stick. And this has been well used. Although I haven't been using it recently. I pulled it back out because I wanted to use it again. So it's got like 3 stripes of color, and you're just gonna like find that place in your cheek, and then you're just gonna whoop. I think it's nice and easy to use. You want to line the darkest color up with like that hollow just under your cheekbone, or even be a smidge higher, but you don't really want to be too low. And then you're just gonna blend that out. He's nice, right? He's nice. Let's put on a smidge of this little stick. This is the Wet n Wild Makeup Stick Conceal. This is in the shade Nude for Thoughts. And it's nice for me, like, for the nose. There you go. I want to blend that. Put a little more on the tip of my nose. Okay. What else was I wanting to use? Yeah, I think I'm going to move on to the under eyes. I'm going to use this Bare Minerals concealer. This is a little pot one, a correcting concealer. I'm going to use it for my under eyes, mostly because it's interesting, you know? I haven't been using like a pot concealer under the eyes much, and I think this one works, and so I want to keep going down that train. I'm also going to use my NYX Dark Circle Corrector. And I think I'm going to test out this powder for the first time. This one's brand new to me. I just got it in my Ipsy box. Translucent Finishing Powder from Naked Cosmetics. I'm going to chicken out. I'm not going to use it right now. I'm going to go to one that I know works. And let's do the Cover FX. Let's just do that. So for me, my under eye makeup is like an operation. So I'm getting it all ready. My favorite brush for this has been this Luxie Precise Foundation brush. I think it's a nice shape. So I put the powder on the brush and I really blend it into the brush, but I don't use a ton of powder. Another thing I'm gonna get ready right now is I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm gonna take 1 ply of a tissue, and put it around the Beauty Blender. And now I need the concealer brush. Let's grab these two because I know I like them. These are both from Wet n Wild. They're their, it's not labeled, but it's like their smaller concealer brush. And I think we're ready for under eye makeup then. Starting with the dark circle corrector, I put on the brush. And this one, I just put on the darkness. So I'm not gonna go like all the way down like the triangle. Just the dark areas. I do one eye at a time because I really need this to be a smooth operation. I've got troubles. I'm gonna blend that out with my little blender. And you know, as I'm looking at it, I think that this concealer is just gonna be too light because this is one I usually use. Let's use something a smidge darker, and let's use this Maybelline Age Rewind instead. This is in the shade Fair, but it's darkish for me. It's not very brightening, so I think that'll be a better choice right now. On this one, you are gonna put more all over like that. Blend it out. And then is when I take the tissue around the Beauty Blender and put extra, soaping up any cream that remains. This has been a huge step for me in making my powder work better. Now I'm gonna just take that powder and put it on that under eye. Really not a lot of powder. I'm just trying to set it a little. For me, it's a quick situation to get gross under the eye with powder. If I don't do this, a lot of times the powder can just kind of like mix with the creamy makeup and just create a bad situation for me. So you see a difference, right? I see a difference. Let's do the other eye. So that's the method that's been working for me. And now for these, I have this Age Rewind. I have this shade. I think I might have a shade darker in the light because I think, yeah, this is one that's numbered. Stupid. So stupid. Where I think the light is 10 and then this is like 15 and you're like, I thought the light was the lightest. So it's like I got the light and I was like, well, it's not light enough. And then I found out there was a Fair and I finally got that. I do also have the brightening one and neutralizer. I would say without any kind of like extra tan color on, I like the brightening one quite a bit because it ends up being the most brightening for my usual fair skin tone, more so than this Fair one. I think where I'm at right now, I probably could have pulled out and used that light even, but I think this Fair is fine. And the neutralizer isn't really great for me. So the brightening one is kind of pinkish, which suits my skin tone well. The neutralizer is significantly more yellow, which just doesn't work as well for me. It's just too yellow and it doesn't look natural enough. But for someone, obviously, that like other skin tones it would suit. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take the same tissue and I'm gonna dab the rest of my face and then I'm gonna put a little bit of powder on the rest of my face. So now I'm gonna just take a little more of my same powder. So this Cover FX powder, it's got this funny sifter lid, which I like and don't like. It is nice that it contains it better, but I kind of find it hard to pour it out of and stuff. Anyway, it's not really gonna keep me from using the powder. It's not like it's a problematic lid that way, but I wouldn't say that I overly love the packaging. I would say I find it kind of funny to use a little. Cause like this doesn't come off. Right? So when I'm trying to get powder out, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb. I just kind of like put it on there and I'm kind of like, come on powder, come on. I will try that Naked Cosmetics one, but I'll try it on a lower pressure day. I'm gonna go in now with a little of this powder foundation. Light layers is usually my name of the game for dry skin. And that includes a powder layer. But I really don't go too crazy with this. This is the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance Pressed Powder in Creamy Natural. I do believe there's a lighter shade, but it's not, I can never see it in the stores, and I would love that one. But I like adding a little more coverage here to the under eye. This powder in particular, I feel like if I don't do that Kleenex trick, that it clumps up with anything that's underneath it a little funny. And I like adding a little more over here. A little more. And now that we've done that, let's give a squirt. I'm gonna use the Physicians Formula #InstaReady Setting Spray. If you do struggle with the same under eye issues, another thing that can be good to do to deal with some of that powdery situation we just put under the eyes is to spray your beauty blender and then just press it a little. Help it all set. Blend and set. So, it's not the lid for that. That's the lid for this. This is the lid for this. Let's go ahead and do a little contour, powder contour. And my contour of the moment is also Physicians Formula. It is this Bronze Booster Physicians Formula palette. This is the matte sculpting palette. It is a nice little palette. You got your trio of like a highlight, a contour, and a bronzer. The contour I feel like is a really nice shade for me. So I like it. You got a mirror in there too. And this brush, which isn't the best brush, but let's use it anyway, just to see. It's not just a useless brush, but it's not the best. I like that it's a cool tone contour shade and not too dark. So if you similarly are in that need, you might like this. I'm not going to use the bronzer, but I will go ahead and use the highlight a little. And I'm going to grab a different brush. I like this e.l.f. Flawless Concealer brush. Brush favorite for me. Yeah. I'm going to put the bronzer on now, but I'm not going to use this bronzer. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. Let's instead go for these Tarte Park Avenue Princess Amazonian Clay Waterproof Bronzer. It's a pretty bronzer. Okay, this has been my favorite blush brush. It's this really cheap Wet n Wild brush, and I just like the shape of it for bronzer. It's been my favorite bronzer brush. It's a very light dusting of bronzer, but like I said, since I already have this fake tan on, I'm kind of already bronzered. So let's take our crown down. Goodbye, kitty cat ears. And let's do a little blush. I'm gonna use this blush duo. Ipsy sent me this. Isn't this cool? What a generous like Ipsy bag. It's got this mirror on the back too. 2 Pacifica coconut blushes. When I saw the spoiler and I saw that they were sending this, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. I had no idea it would be like this big. I thought it would be like, you know, they usually send like tiny little duos. So I was like, those are stupid. I don't care. And instead, it's awesome. I had a really good Ipsy month. I was like, Ipsy loves me this month. Thank you, Ipsy. Let's go with the darker one. Like I can kind of somewhat. Just a little. I'm gonna use the other shade too. I haven't used it much yet, but it seems like really pretty blushes. They're matte. They're matte. So that's what I've been using. So highlight. Let's use this Wet n Wild. Let's use this Wet n Wild Boozy Brunch. It's huge, right? It's freaking huge. And let's use a Wet n Wild unicorn brush with it. It's a golden highlight that is really only appropriate for me at a time like this where I'm a little more tan than naturally. Otherwise, it's just a bit too golden for me. But I think it's really pretty. If it suits your skin tone, I think it's such a pretty summer highlighter. I want to add a little above my eye too. Let's take this brush. Not above my eye, but on my brow bone. Let's really highlight. Oh, I haven't even done my brows. We'll do brows next. Brows, brows, brows. Brows, 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 brows. Let's take this Wet n Wild Color Icon Brow Pencil in Brunettes Do It Better. And let's brow pencil. I do have rather thick brows, so I've never leaned towards those like really skinny brow pencils. And so this is not one of those. It's more of a kind of filling in the bald spots brown brow pencil, not really for making fake hairs. Let's add in a little, I'm gonna use a gel, but first I'm gonna use these fibers. This is one of the old Benefit Gimme Brows and like one of their old shades. And the only reason I pulled it out, I'm surprised I still had it. I'd been using lighter ones like this lately, and I kind of wanted a darker. I don't know, I've been into my brows looking a little darker. So I pulled this out, and yeah, I need to get a new one of this, or probably more likely I'll just get the Essence. I think theirs is Make Me Brow, and this is Gimme Brow, because they're real subtle. And then this is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Gel. It's brown, but the shade is not, so it's not highly pigmented. I think that most people would be fine with it unless you really had extremely light brows. It just doesn't provide a ton of color. But I think it's a nicely holding gel. And then when I'm really being my fanciest, I pull out this tiny little wax pencil and play with these little hairs here and kind of wild them up a little. I feel like it looks youthful. I don't seem to be growing hairs there anymore that really do that naturally, and I wish I did. And of course then my little sister, like the moment I give her something to do with her brows, she's gonna like pull those hairs right out and says, I don't want them. We all want something different, don't we? But I mean, I was tweezing my eyebrows in those 90s, early 2000s when eyebrows, it was a bad time for eyebrows. We all know that. I got a little brush here. So the only other thing I'd really show is this Wet n Wild mattifying powder, Matte About You. This one's been pretty well used. There's some definite pan there. It's just a really easy mattifying powder. With dry skin, I don't need a lot, but I do like to press it into some of the spots at the end of my makeup that maybe look a smidge oily or shiny that I don't want looking quite as shiny. And let's finish it up by popping on a little lip gloss. This is the Pillow Plump XXL by Soap & Glory in Koi Toy. These are new to me. They make my lips feel like they're vibrating. It's so weird feeling. They have a nice taste. I think they're pretty on the lips. They're definitely, like, you can feel the plumpy. So if you don't like any of that business, don't even go there. But yeah, there we have it. What do we think? Like it? Anyway, that's that. Let's call it. And I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.